Blizzard is completely reworking Diablo 4. And when they say reworking, I'm going to instantaneously assume making Diablo 4 more into Diablo 3, because that has been happening since the game launched. Also, I don't know why they are currently doing this, because honestly, the current iteration of Diablo 4 is the most playable almost game that we have had.
All right, Blizzard just reworked a significant portion of Diablo 4. There's a lot of changes that they just announced in a 2.5 hour, their longest developer update live stream yet. I'm going to break it down for you.
Oh boy, I hope we got to see the lesbian level designers who don't talk about level designing, but they talk about how LGBTQ plus they are about life and everything, and how that much that matters. Oh, Blizzard, you need to fire so many people.
And explain everything that's going on. First change is one that was speculated that actually ended up being a correct guess. The max level cap is now level 60, and with this, there is being added 10 additional skill points for your skill tree. They also added new skills, new passives, new items for each one of the different classes. They're calling this Reimagine.
Okay, that's cool. Because, again, I don't like the way that this game currently is. Master crafting is a joke. The crafting system is an absolute joke. The affixes and prefixes... Do I need to say it again? Absolute joke. And yet, at the very, very same time, I have to say, if you just keep adding more stuff to experiment with, combine in different shapes, it's gonna shape out to actually be enjoyable at some point. Now, will it happen early on? Probably no. But at some point, it's gonna be enough of a critical mass to at least be entertaining for a day or two, maybe a week even.
Pace, but basically there's new difficulties in the game of normal, hard, expert, and Pentient. This is similar to Diablo 3, in which you could sort of choose the difficulty that suits you, and you'll be rewarded with additional, gold, experience.
Well, to be fair, that's good, because difficulty levels that you can choose at any time are better than world tiers. I have been yelling that world tiers are an absolute horrendous mechanic that just hurts the game since, well, again, day one. Because world tiers are just stupid. When you get to World Tier 3, that's when you can only start to use some of your resources to get that instantaneous spike of items to be more powerful, because everything just gets upscaled instantaneously. And then you do the same at World Tier 4, and then you can only truly start to spend, resources on things. It is wild, insane, and stupid how that works.
Etc. And paired with this is going to be a streamline of monster difficulty. That way, throughout the different difficulty levels, it's going to be a smoother experience. Effectively, how they're doing this is by making the monsters scale with your player level, as well as scale with the pit tier. We'll talk about why the pit tier in just a moment, because pit is actually getting significantly
monsters already scale with the level, so I don't exactly understand how this is going to be different, nor do I actually think it's going to be different. My shorts are currently being just stuck to my legs. It's annoying. I know.
Reworked as well. And because of feedback associated with the pit, they're reducing the total amount of boss HP, as well as...
And there is a turned off ventilator here. Oof.
Reducing the instances of getting one shot. Effectively, the pit can be highly annoying for people, and because the pit's actually going to be fairly...
Yes, this has been a problem throughout all of Diablo 4's existence. Because there are too many situations where you're literally just getting one shot.
Important. Again, we'll talk about why in a second. They're trying to make it less annoying. Now, their fancy drawing here basically explains how they feel the game.
Okay, got it. I got it. So, yeah, this is pretty accurate. I don't know. Oh, Helltide. Okay, that's okay. Got it. I would say that Helltide honestly ends somewhere here, and world bosses persist kinda until the end of the game, because world bosses are a really good way to get items, okay? Pro tip, you can get 925 items in Helltide level, in World Tier level 3 from world bosses, and it's gonna completely break your scaling. World Tier 3 is gonna become irrelevant, and World Tier 4 is gonna be irrelevant, because the moment you get 925 level items, instantaneously you will never equip anything below that.
is currently set up. You go to level 1 to 100 and you very quickly, you're going to be moving through the world tiers. And then after that, the difficulty in terms of content to be able to conquer is basically just go as high as level in the pits as you possibly can, and they're not satisfied with this in game. So they're changing the way that the pit works. Effectively, the pit now unlocks a max level at level 60, and the difficulties of the game are immediately unlocked upon beating the associated pit tier. Now, you can still pick the difficulties normal, hard, expert, Pentium.
This seems so completely redundant. Why would you do this? If you have pit tiers that govern how difficult the game is, why would you actually need this part? It just doesn't make sense. This literally doesn't make sense.
Hard, expert, Pentium. But to unlock the other torment difficulties, you will need to clear the associated pit tier. And all of the pit tiers that are within those levels of normal, hard, expert, Pentium are already unlocked immediately upon hitting max level. So effectively how this works is you're going to choose your difficulty, you're going to play through the game, you're going to hit level 60, you unlock the pit, you go to the pit, depending upon how strong you are at that point, maybe you can get up and clear and be able to beat until you get to Torment 1, you'll be in Torment 1, you're going to continue to farm Torment 1 until you're strong enough to beat tier 35, then you're Torment 2, this keeps happening until you can beat tier 65, which unlocks Torment 4, and then Torment 4 is the
Yeah, this is literally the Diablo 3 progression. 100% of it, by the way.
New highest level difficulty. With the changes to leveling and difficulty comes changes to itemization. 750 is basically the new cap until we get into Torment, and it is going to turn into 800. And from levels 51 to 59, there's going to be a significant power level jump in each one of those itemization per level. And then if you look at this at 60, there's another significant power jump. So your items are going to improve as you level your character, as opposed to going standard gear, then sacred, then ancestral. They actually completely deleted sacred items out of the game entirely. And now ancestral gear becomes available starting at Torment 1, which is capped at 800 now.
Oh boy, so now anything below Torment 1 gearing is going to be completely redundant. Well played. Dude, this is what Blizzard does. They have a problem, they understand the problem, and their solution to the problem is just remaking the problem, but keeping the problem intact at its core. Lovely. Absolutely beautiful.
Now it's a new item power level cap. Now, ancestral items are not guaranteed to drop every single item. It's not like World Tier 4 where every item is an ancestral. Instead, they are more of a rarity type of item. So you can be in Torment 4, get normal legendary items, and then you get an ancestral item drop, but they become more common as you go through the higher tiers. So Tier 4 of Torment will be more common ancestral than Tier 1 for instance.
Okay, this is technically better than just adding another redundant tier of item. Because, again, these different tiers of item make no sense in my mind, okay? People would be fine with a Dude, just add PoE complexity of items or last epoch and give us a loot filter. That's all we want. That's all this game needs.
Instance, but you can still get the same cap of gear in either one of these torments. There is no increase in power from 1 to 4. It's just more common. It's a quantity thing. Now, ancestral items are guaranteed to have a greater affix with them as well. Basically, ancestral items are your chase items. They will be your forever items is what they call them in the game. They gave this example here. It's an ancestral unique item. It's guaranteed to have a greater affix, and it's capped at 800 item power.
Wow.
So items are obviously very different. There's also a glyph update, which is, in my opinion, thank God, because you no
infinity scaling?
longer have to run nightmare dungeons for glyphs. They now go up to level 100, and there's a significant amount of power you can acquire from
No.
these glyphs.
Well, this is going to be almost infinity for most people, I believe.
What's interesting is they start as rare glyphs, and then they're upgraded to legendary when you hit rank 46.
Wow.
They're going to be easier to level, so while level 100 seems...
Well, this does solve one stupid problem of this dumb game, and that is obviously the very stupid problem of what's the point of blue glyphs? Has anyone even ever read what a blue glyph does? No. Obviously not.
Seems a little bit ridiculous. It's not going to be as slow to level now. You also level these from the pit instead of the nightmare dungeon. Now, they basically admit to this, but there's quite a bit of Diablo 3 you're going to be noticing in these updates. These are very similar.
Well, everything I noticed here is a one-to-one equivalent of a system that exists in Diablo 3. So, yeah.
To legendary gems. For instance, you're going to run Pit, which is basically Gray the Rift, and you're going to continue to level up these glyphs, which are sort of like legendary gems. And you're going to be getting significant power with them. When the glyph becomes legendary, it unlocks a significant multiplicative stat bonus. Glyphs also have a chance to be leveled when you run a pit. However, it's a guaranteed success if it's 10 pit tier difference or more, or 20 pit tier difference or more gives you bonus ranks. So the pit is going to be a significantly more...
Wait, so we no longer have to click on the stupid thing at the end of a dungeon and press upgrade glyph? Because that is the stupidest, most annoying system ever.
Or important part of the game, since the glyphs are basically massive now. This is what it looks like to level them up. You can see there is a radius size increase we'll show in just a moment. You can see it actually takes gem fragments in order to level up your glyph. There is now...
I have no idea what a gem fragment even is, because literally all the crafting materials in this game have become 100% redundant. I have not cared about gold a single time playing Diablo 4 this season. I have not cared about any resource at all a single time this season.
Multiple tiers of radius increase that can happen with these glyphs. You're going to notice the board looks a little bit different. There's a significant amount of changes related to Paragon. The first change, which is pretty nice, is that Paragon points are actually associated with your entire season, your entire character type. So if you're in, let's say, season 6, playing a softcore character, then your Paragon points will be there in association with all of your characters that are softcore within season 6. However, unlike D3, you don't actually get access to those Paragon power and points until you hit the max level of 60. Then it unlocks what you've already acquired. You obviously earn Paragon points through experience, and the cap went
so dumb.
From 200.
Again, we are just creeping slowly closer and closer to the idea that levels don't even exist in this game.
To 300. But because there's more points, they're actually capping the amount of Paragon boards that you can use at any given time to 5. Temporary's getting an update. There's going to be new affixes. Here's an example. Chance to deal double damage and chance to hit twice. The weapons will be multiplicative, and the offensive will be additive. Ultimates are now considered skills that you can actually add ranks to. So you can see here we can have 5 out of 5 on an ultimate. Now, this is more of a general breakdown, so I'm not going to go through every single change, but...
this is something I also said will happen. Again, we're just getting closer and closer to ultimates being spammable. They are already almost spammable to a degree, but, you know, I'm talking about 100% uptime.
Add ranks to, so you can see here we can have 5 out of 5 on an ultimate. Now, this is more of a general breakdown, so I'm not going to go through every single change, but all of the classes got new unique item, got new skills, some of them looking pretty interesting. Also, 2 new mythic uniques. You might notice something interesting about one of them. The update's also going to be layered with quality of life, like you can teleport to your chosen hometown. But however, let's talk about what you guys are really going to want to know about. Rune words officially coming to Diablo 4 and announced.
It's over. I said Diablo 4 is 100% dying when rune words come to this game, and I think it... Will this be over? I don't know. But the way that they're changing shit, I'm not actually sure. But again, rune words, I think, are one of the last straws before this game completely just dies.
Of the Diablo 2 ones right here.
Welcome to the world where all of your armor is not Tyrael's Might anymore, but just a rune word now. I mean, every armor that everyone already used was Tyrael's Might, so, you know, what's the difference swapping with rune word at this point? None.
Now, like Diablo 2, in Diablo 4, rune words are going to be stockable. However, they will be recoverable. Rune words are going to be different in Diablo 4 than they are in Diablo 2. Not gonna lie,
Yeah, because no one's gonna want to say use the stash space. It's gonna be some kind of pickable, upable resource.
it's pretty cool though. So here's how it works. It's actually pretty interesting. There's 2 sockets available on gear. There's 2 different types of runes, and there's legendary and magic runes, etc. But there's 2 different types of genres of runes. There's offering runes and invocation runes. And how offering were
Well, again, the good part is the more. At some point, they're gonna reach this critical mass of things that are possible in this game that it's gonna be at least playable for a week, right? Or a couple of days. Not like previously for 30 minutes and you get bored.
runes work is it has something that you need to explicitly do in order to gain offering. And how invocation works is it takes the offering once you've gained it and automatically does like a proc. So you can combine a variety of these to do any type of build you really want. So they show this example that as he's moving, he's generating offerings, and then the invocation rune that he is using generates an earthquake for him. So you can see he's passively just generating earthquakes. They really want to enable build makers in the game to have a variety of options.
Now, to be fair, I have no idea what generating an earthquake means because I have never played a barbarian, and I never will.
There's more depth to it. This is basically another layer of complexity that is now.
Never played a barbarian in Diablo 2, never played a barbarian in Diablo 3, never playing a barbarian in Diablo 4. Why? Because I absolutely have no reason to try and bi-curiously live my life through a character that's a strong, burly man. I'm already that, boys, okay? Now I want to be a small fuckboy necromancer. It is what it is.
Being added. It's one of the first real progression systems that's been added since the beginning of the game that I saw and went, oh, that's actually like pretty cool. To give you an example,
my fucking lower leg has more muscles than your entire body.
They even showed one where like a necromancer was generating off.
By the way, I'm serious. I was born with already buff legs, good genetics. Okay, my calves are like of steel, boys.
That then the invocation allowed them to use like a sorceress's teleport, so you can actually mix and match some other classes' skills within these runes as well. Now it's limited on what skills you can use, but each class is going to get like 2 additional skills from another class that can be mixed and matched with.
Interesting at the bare minimum, I will say. Is it good? Don't know, but at least it's something.
In the rune words, but that's just one example. There's also an additional mechanic called overflow. So if you know this...
Also, you know what's going to happen? I can already predict the next problem that Diablo 4 is going to be facing. When this actually comes live, it's going to feel better. It's going to be like, oh my god, is Diablo 4 actually almost a playable game? And you know what's going to happen? They're going to push into this direction, at which point your whole screen is going to be press any button and 50 different effects happen. You have no idea what's happening. Because this is where we're almost at. With these rune words, with the companions in the next expansion, with everything. Every single click of a button is going to activate like 15 different things. And you're not going to see anything on your screen. And at that point, Blizzard is going to have to find a way to actually get rid of the effects on the screen. This is literally going to be the next problem that Diablo faces when the game becomes almost playable. And then they're going to have to, take it out the back and introduce to, lead.
So this generates 50 offering, but the rune he's pairing it with only costs 25. So there's an overflow mechanic. If you have more offering than your invocation uses, that generates another effect. For instance, this one gains multiple stacks. They show the example of some of the runes you can actually use. You can see here, you can evoke Spiritborn moves, you can evoke Necromancer moves, you can evoke Druid's Petrify, which is like a...
okay. Teleport, Unstoppable, Vortex, don't know what that is. Horrid Decrepify. Necromancer's Horrid Decrep. Wasn't Decrep's name just Decrep? Was it actually Horrid Decrep? Interesting. Petrify from the Druid, countering concealment, rogue, and enchanted, whatever. That's probably also, source.
Straight up ultimate. So now multiple classes can enjoy the Druid 17 damage. You can reroll 3 of the same runes to try to attempt to get another rune. This rune's guaranteed to be a different one. You also can now craft mythic uniques using a singular spark as well as runes. There will be a PTR.
Who cares about this? Anyway, it's gonna be something. Anyway, that was our boy Doc Microtransactions DM. Have a nice day. Bye bye. I love you, Skills.